What's up? What's up, hoop heads? It's your boy JB from Undrafted Hoops coming at you with another episode of our off-season block party, where we look to cover all 30 teams in the league, whether it be before the draft, after the draft, as free agency begins. Tonight, we're going to dive into the Motor City Detroit Pistons. Very excited for this one. Very exciting young team who have been very active, and we have been planning this one for a little bit. I'm excited to get started. But before I do so, I want to give a shout out to one of our YouTube networks, the Hardcore Sports Network. They reached out to us when we first got started on here on YouTube, and they really gave us a little bit of a push and a little bit of guidance as we look to build this thing. So I want to give a shout out to all my boys over at Hardcore Sports Network. Make sure you subscribe to their channel. It's not just basketball, it's everything. Wrestling, baseball, football, my Philadelphia Eagles, they touch on them. But just give them a follow, a subscription on YouTube. It's much appreciated. Don't forget to smash our YouTube button. Subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. Also, Facebook and Twitter. Undrafted Hoops on Facebook, at Undrafted Hoops _ on Twitter. There you'll get daily news, breaking news, opinion pieces, comparisons, unbiased coverage of the NBA. I mean, like everybody has a narrative and an agenda. Well, ours is different than most people's. We just talk about the league and what we enjoy of it. And we really try to limit the negativity and the toxic narrative that surrounds the NBA. I mean, if you follow this league, you know the narrative is toxic as of late. But I don't do this alone. Behind the scenes, my man Josh Isles, he ain't on the camera tonight. So I'm going to be the most handsome one on the camera tonight. But I also got my crew with me tonight. The Mad Wizard, Gary Harmon. Oh, shit.
What's up, my brother?
My man, what's up, bro? We're talking about basement dwellers here, not the Wizards tonight, but we are talking about the Detroit Pistons.
It's all good. There's a lot to talk about. It's an exciting young team, I think. You know what I mean? A lot of good young pieces to talk about. A lot to look forward to there.
Absolutely. So not only do I have you tonight, we went to the archives tonight. We got Coach Cam in the building to talk about his favorite coach, Monty Williams, baby.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm happy to speak hoops. It's always a pleasure to join you guys.
Awesome. My man Coach is back in the building. And also on the fourth screen, the Sasquatch of hoops himself, Tony G. What's up, my brother?
Yo, yo, yo. Detroit basketball.
Yo, before you get started, don't even fucking say playoffs. If you say playoffs on this show, bro, I'm gonna lose my shit tonight.
No chance.
No chance. No chance. Well, if they have any chance, they're gonna need Cade Cunningham to play the level that was anticipated before his injury yesterday. You can't talk about this team without first mentioning Cade Cunningham because his progression was supposed to be the big story for them last season, and he got hurt. I think about 12 to 15 games into the season. Tony, I'll start with you, then we'll go around to Gary and Cam. What's your expectations from Cam? He was playing 33 minutes a game before he got hurt and averaged just under 20 points. The thing I want to get at about Cam that was underlining for me was he's shooting 41% before the injury last year. Tony, is that something you're concerned about with Cam? And not Coach Cam. I'm talking about Cunningham.
Not really. He's a better shooter than his percentages say. I think he was a little hurt last year, but I mean, he was about the same as rookie year. I think adding a few shooters to the roster and a different coach, he'll be much better this year. I think he'll play on and off ball, which is what I really liked about him. And it just sucks. His injury was from like the AAU days. The guy used to play like 3 games a day. Like Cade loves basketball. He didn't miss games. So he ended up getting a stress fracture in his shin from playing too much. So they'll ease him back. So I don't expect the superstar numbers per se next season, but the season after that, that's when we'll see a huge jump from Cade.
Yeah, I mean, coming out, I had a few question marks about him because I felt like he kind of was part of a draft where he was going to be the unforeseen number one, and Detroit really liked him. Gary, were you a fan of Cade coming out? And do you have any concerns? Like Tony seems to think that him shooting 41%, actually 2 years in a row he was shooting 41%, and not very good from three. Do you have any concerns with Cade coming into this season?
I mean, coming out, I was kind of concerned. I didn't necessarily believe that he was the for sure number one player. I thought he had a lot of holes in his game, but since coming into the league, I think that he's proven to be very good. You know, he's capable of playing. He's got a drive and, you know, get a lot of mid-range shots. You know what I mean? He's pretty good with his assists. He's a big point guard, so he gets pretty good amount of rebounds as well. So last year, you know, he averaged like 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists a game. And I think him having a lot of shooters around him can help him not necessarily have to shoot as much, and it won't exploit his ability to not be able to shoot threes as well and necessarily shoot too much. So he can play predominantly like a point guard and get a lot of rebounds and focus on getting it to the open shooters.
Yeah, you and Tony both touched on Detroit going out and getting some shooters. Coach, are you looking at Cade this season more as a distributor per se and less of a scorer? Like when he first came on Detroit, you know, they were just chock full of young guys. Now that they got kind of an actual NBA roster, are you leaning on him more as the ball handler and making plays as opposed to being the guy that's trying to score the basket?
You sure they have an NBA roster?
Oh, man. You came out guns blazing, and this isn't the Wild Wild West.
Look.
You come out firing.
I'm serious. I'm looking at this roster. I'm like, Gary talking about the shooters. I'm looking at what shooters?
Whoa.
Cade for me is gonna be one of those players that's gonna get his numbers on high volume, low efficiency on a bad team. That's where Cade is right now. Unfortunately, you shoot 41% 2 years in a row. Now I know there were some injuries involved, but you know that's
alarming.
We're headed towards it being a trend more than an accident. That's where I'm at with it, because once you start putting together multiple seasons of where you're shooting around the same percentage, it's like, okay, how can we get better? And the fact that he's not healthy all the time to play in games to get better, that's a concerning point to me. So, I mean, this year I think it's very important for Cade Cunningham. He has to show that he can take the next step forward, and he's just not an average guy, because you don't pick a number, a player number one to shoot that percentage and to play average. Like, yeah, 20 points is 20 points, but look at the volume as what he's shooting at.
Yeah, and I'm definitely on the same page as you as in terms of 41% is alarming to me. But I think he was being asked to do probably more than being the number one pick. You are asked to do a lot, and I thought he showed flashes when he was healthy. But it's something definitely to keep an eye on. And now, when you question the team actually being an NBA roster, they go out. I'm actually going to jump off of my sheet here. They go out and get Joe Harris. Yes, Joe Harris struggled to find his footing on that Nets team. He was also coming off injuries himself. But, if you're out there running Cade and you put out Bojan Bogdanovic and Joe Harris, and they go out and draft Marcus Sasser from Houston, another shooter, it hides the deficiency of Cade a little bit and allows him just to distribute the rock to willing shooters, capable three-point shooters. So I will disagree with you in that aspect. But if Cade is going to be a problem shooting 41%, I do have concerns with their draft pick. They draft one of the Thompson brothers. Tony, give me the name. I want to butcher his first name. I was going to say Ulcer.
Asur Thompson.
Asur Thompson. So they land him in the draft. That was one of their coveted picks. I know that they really wanted to jump into the top one or two picks. They end up getting 5, and I know they were a little disappointed. But they draft Thompson, and all signs point to a 2-3 super long that can defend the ball well. He's a menace on the defensive end, but he also isn't a great shooter. So Tony, give me a quick rundown of Thompson, and tell me where you think he fits on this roster, just at first glance.
Well, he's the kind of guy who could fit on any team that you put him on because he can just play every position. He also improved his shooting significantly, and he has a pretty good form. He kind of reminds me of like a Iguodala on the defensive end. I do think his offensive ceiling is probably better than that. Obviously,
what's up, my man?
Well, he's actually a very, very underrated creator. So I don't know. I thought it was a good pick. It was high ceiling. His kid's got a good floor, and he has a great work ethic. So, like, if you're trying to build a young culture, like, it was just a great pick for them. Like, if I was them, I would have picked him or Bilal. But I definitely, which I didn't feel that way in the beginning. I thought they should have, targeted. But thinking about ceiling, coach, like he's just such a Monty Williams type of player. I don't know. I really like the pick.
So,
but the one thing I was going to say about Mr. Cunningham is he is 84% from the line. There aren't many bad shooters who can shoot that well from the line. And in high school, he was over 40% 3-point shooter, and in college. So I think it's shot selection. Just when, like Cam said, they didn't have he still thinks they don't have an NBA roster. I still think they are bad, but they improved. It's hard when you're 19, 20 years old and you're playing with guys who have no idea what they're doing either. So everyone's in the wrong positions. So you start forcing up bad shots because you're trying to claw your team back when you're down 15. And that's
every single night.
Yep.
So the kid Thompson, he wins the MVP. His team wins the championships for the overtime elite. Gary, are you holding any merit to this league, or are you just looking at the prospect of this kid moving forward?
I mean, when it comes to stats and numbers, no, I'm not really holding any merit to the league. I mean, it's pretty much just potential coming out of the league. You're looking at people who show flashes in their I mean, if you're honestly the superstar and you have that big of a gap, I expect more than 16 and 7 to be your average, but that's just me.
He only played like 27 minutes a game with them.
Yeah.
Cam, do you have anything you want to add to this Thompson kid before we jump into Marcus Sasser? Because he's a guy I want to touch on with you. Um, you got any takes on Thompson at all or no?
No, I mean it's the pick they need. They need somebody that's willing, a willing defender, especially that can guard multiple spots. So that was a good pick for them. Like I said, I feel like they have the potential to have some, multiple 20-point scores with Ivy and Cunningham. But but for them to get a versatile defender, that was a good pick for the Pistons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he's
saw
6 foot
something
set.
where he
Go
had
ahead, Gary.
3 steals. He had like 3 steals or more in like 7 out of 15 games, which is pretty crazy. Like, I mean, he's a pretty active defender, and you can't really teach defense like that. I mean, you can only make him better, and he's just going to help that team in a way that they really, really need help.
Yeah, he averaged 2.7 steals and 1.3 blocks a game. I know Tony and Cam both said he is versatile. 6'7". They're saying he can guard anywhere from the 1 to the 4 in spots, depending on the matchup. And I mean, I think last year they were ranked 28th in defense. I'm looking at it right now. They were ranked 28th out of 30th in defense. So obviously this was a glaring need for them. So I mean, in terms of fit and need, it's definitely a great pick for them. A lot has to play out. Obviously, he was only playing 27 minutes a game for overtime, and I don't know if the competition level is comparable to maybe some of the college level or the G League. But the other guy I want to touch on, I'm going to start with you too, Cam, Sasser. 4-year guy at Houston. He's coming in the league at 23 years old. He was the AAC Player of the Year last year. I know you watched some Houston this year. Give me a little take. I'm going to go from you to Gary to Tony. Give me a little take on Sasser because he's another point guard. So they just inserted another point guard on this roster. Tell me what you do or don't like about him.
Well, with Marcus Sasser, like I said, I watched Houston. Like I said, I'm a UC Bearcat fan, so we run into Houston twice a year. Marcus Sasser is just tough. Just make the right plays, and and he can shoot the ball. Like that's he's just one of those polished, 4-year college guys, well coached under Kelvin Sampson. Um, who's flirted with the NBA a couple times. So, you're gonna get it's somebody that you know what you're gonna get on most nights. Um, and I do think he can be someone that can be a nice rotation player early on if they give him the opportunity to do so. I know a lot of we'll get into it later, but the coach there at the Pistons like to go with the veterans and don't treat young players that well. So we'll see how that goes. But Sasser is someone that can definitely contribute and come in and play like 12 minutes a night for you and give you solid contribution.
Gary, were you able to watch any Sasser this year? I know. Houston was tough this year. Were you able to catch any of him this season? I
I
know
mean,
you're a big college baseball guy.
it wasn't even just this season. Houston's been good the last few
Oh yeah,
years, and Sasser's been a big part of it. But yeah, I mean, this year I was watching, Sasser continuously plays like a dog, shoots about 40% from 3, just under, about 38, 39%, but just rounding up. And I'm pretty sure he's like an 84, 85% free throw shooter. And like Cam was pointing out, 4 years in college, those players, they come in pretty experienced. I feel like that helps out a lot. But also, like Cam pointed out, Monty Williams, you might end up seeing Marcus Sasser playing in the G League half the season just so that he can go down there and get some minutes and develop. Because, I mean, they have Killian Hayes still right behind Cade Cunningham. So how much minutes are they really going to be able to give him? even though he should be getting more minutes, in my opinion. I agree with Cam 100%, but we'll see what happens with it.
Well, he was actually, just wanted to touch on, he was actually 37% for his career in college. So, he shot, that's pretty strong for a 4-year career. Tony, Gary mentioned that he could possibly see time in the G League. Are you basing that off of minutes alone, or are you basing it like off of availability? Or are you saying like, he is 23. That's a pretty, a glaring number being a rookie. Do you think that plays a part in his season this year?
I don't think. I think more teams are going to use the G League more. The thing about Sasser that's weird to me is how many 6'1" shooting guards are in the NBA.
Yeah.
I do think he's probably will play right away, though. Like he may go down to the G League some, but I do think he'll be in their rotation. Because I don't think they think they traded on draft day to get him too. So I don't think they're just trading this guy thinking we'll look at him. We're like, all right, we'll replace Corey Josephs. We'll have him in our 10-man rotation and we'll play him right away.
Yeah, I was looking at one of his draft sheets, and the one sheet said, could he be the Fred VanVleet of the Detroit Pistons? Where it's funny Gary mentioned the G League because that's where Fred VanVleet really came from for them. And he's a point guard, but shooting guard tendencies in my opinion. So I thought that was an interesting comparison for Sasser. But Cam mentioned this, and I want to dive right into it. Detroit won 17 games last year, and they gave Dwayne Casey a long leash because they obviously went tanking, and they didn't come out quite as fresh as they wanted to. Like I said, they ended up with the 5th pick this year, but they end up making the move where they put Dwayne Casey in the front office, and they go out and hire my man, Monty Williams. Now, when I say my man, Monty Williams, I love him as a human being. I love him as a culture guy. I love him as a guy a franchise can lean on to be professional and give the team some direction. When this hire happened, Cam, the coach, bashed Coach Monty, and I was surprised when I heard this. Tell me why you're a little, I guess, not at ease with this signing for Detroit. He got paid too, by the way.
And look, I don't want to come out like just like straight up bash anyone. Like, you know what I mean? Like for all the reasons you named, like Monty Williams, come across as a great human being, a great person, someone that persevered a lot, someone that you can look to as far as perseverance and how to handle adversity. For me, it's the money they gave him. And these aren't the type teams that Monty Williams win with. Like for me, it's almost like Dwayne Casey being the coach all over again for them. It's not a good fit. I don't think that he will be able to reach these young guys. I mean, I really don't. It took Chris Paul coming in to Phoenix to really turn it around. We can say what we want about Chris Paul. I'm not the biggest Chris Paul fan, but however, you're going to get better
we know.
in the regular season once you get Chris Paul. That's just what it is. Regular season, he's going to make you a much better basketball team. I just don't see where Monty Williams is going to come in and do anything with this young team. Like, and the team, and don't get me wrong, the team is not good either. Like, the team is just not good. Even with the pieces that were added. This team stinks.
So, okay, so, they win seven. No, but they win 17 games last season, and obviously, I wouldn't say that they're a 17-win team. I honestly think that they went in a tank later in the season. They ended up winning 23 games the year before, which is where I think that team probably would have been last year, anywhere between 25 and 30 games last season.
Okay. Real quick to shoot back up. How many wins you think the Pistons going to get this year with Monty Williams, your man Monty Williams, and these new additions that
I'm sweating. You're putting me on the spotlight.
Yeah. I'm making you sweat a little bit.
I like this.
Written down.
That the Pistons are going to have with these additions and Monty Williams. How many?
Okay, hold up. Gary, I'm going to go to you after I give this because I actually don't even have a number written down. But I wrote down 17 and 65 because I wanted to touch on this. With them going out getting Monty Williams, and we're going to touch on two of the veterans that they traded for right after the draft. Because, like you said, Monty Williams does struggle with the youth, but that's not so evident because when he took over Phoenix, they were very young. Also, they had Bridges and Cam Johnson and Booker and Ayton, and they went out and got a veteran to kind of glue the team together. I'm not trying to dance around the projection number, but I think the East did get very good also. So I'm going to say, without thinking, they're going to finish around 30 wins. And that's actually that would be a huge improvement. 13 wins from last season. I'm going to say, if you're asking me what the over-under is, I'm going to say I think that they can get to 30 wins next season. So I'm not overly projecting this team, but I definitely think that they are going to be way, way more improved.
Okay.
Gary, you wrote a number down. Is it anywhere close to 30?
It's actually funny. Let me see if I can put it up here. I don't know if you can see it, but it says 27 and 35. I mean, 27 and 55, maybe 30. 30 being like around their ceiling. So, I mean, that's not a good basketball team. I think they have some good young pieces with potential that they need to develop. You know, Ivy's good. Well, possibly can be good. Isaiah Stewart can be good. I like him a lot. I think he's a good piece as a big man. They just got to develop
certain matchups, yeah.
Obviously, Cade, the guys they drafted this year. They also got don't they still have they got James Wiseman. So
yeah, they got Wiseman, they got Bagley.
Don't they have Duran? Jalen Duran?
Jalen Duran, yep.
I like Duran.
Yeah.
So
it's full of kids they have to develop. They're not ready to win yet.
Gary, are you saying 30 wins you're saying 30 wins is probably their ceiling?
Yeah, I think that's probably about their ceiling.
I think they can get to 35.
Give Monty Coach of the Year.
I think they might get to 35, Cam.
35. Cam's voting Monty Coach of the Year.
There's no way.
Don't say no way. Don't say no way.
I'm saying it. No way. They get.
He's laughing at me. Damn, Cam. Tony G, can you convince Cam that this team could push over 30 win margin or no? Are you under the 30 wins?
Under 30. I had 27 like with Gary. If they get 35, then that is one of the best seasons like ever. Like Monty really should get Coach of the Year votes, but he won't. But if they get 35 or more, that's impressive. Because I always during the stage of like when the Sixers drafted Okafor, they just have a bunch of guys. Like now they're trying to put them together, but like Wiseman and Bagley don't match. They have all these guys who don't fit together. They are just going to play a bunch this season, see what skills they can take, and then they're going to have to consolidate. The only guys I bought, Jalen Duren is going to be incredible. Going to be maybe lead the league in rebounding down the line, 15 and 15 type of guy. He's
Big
just
time.
Super young.
Like 9-9 last year.
I mean, that's why I didn't really understand the Wiseman but like when you're buying that low and you're not trying to rack up wins, you might as well try to see if these guys have any skills, and therefore you can either trade them down the line, sign them for a good deal. So I like what they're doing, but they shouldn't come out here and win. Like the Monty Morris I was hoping he went to a contender because I really like his game. He will help them, and he'll help their second unit run, but that one surprised me.
This was like a career suicide move, in my opinion, for Monty Williams, because it's like
necessarily
sent to save the abandoned store, like that's if you can't do it, you're fired for good. It's like a last resort job. If he happens to turn it around in Detroit, it's gonna save his career in the NBA. But it's like
90.
jobs.
He can live off $90 million, though, right?
Oh, easy, yeah. Financially, he's set, and he made the right choice if that's what he wants to go with.
It's kind of like Go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna say, honestly, I think that they are gonna give him like 4 or 5 years, no matter what. They understand.
Oh, no matter what.
You paid
what they're going into.
Much.
Yeah, they are like, because they really are gonna. It should be a 3-year rebuild. Like in 3 years, you should hope to have at least 40 wins. Because the way it is structured now, they have a lot of work to do. And Monty Williams is a good coach, but he's not a miracle worker. I know he likes Jesus and he's real religious, but he ain't
He's going to need him to get 35 wins.
Yeah, and the East is getting better. East is deep. So I'm looking more of direction this year than actual wins. Like I want to. We'll wait and we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking at Monty's track record. When he signed with the Phoenix Suns, they went from 34 and 39 to 51 and 21 the year after that. Yes, Devin Booker was a whole different beast, and that team was built slightly different. But I am looking at the youth. I think he's a 2-time coach of the year too, by the way, Monty Williams. But what Cam had touched on was
Casey was coach of the year too.
Monty relies on the veterans, and yes, this team isn't totally full of them. But the one guy that's been floated in trade rumors is Bojan Bogdanovic. That's my dude. That dude is a fucking gamer. He plays. He balls out every night. He can shoot the ball. Do you think, like, why would Monty go there if they were going to possibly trade away Bogdanovic? He averaged 20 points a game last year. Like, I would expect Monty to lean on him this year. Don't you think, Cam?
I mean, that would be a person that you would want to lean on, especially just a veteran and know how to, show up, work every day, and show the young
score
guys, and show the young guys how it's done. But at the end of the day, they have to find a vocal leader in there. I'm not sure if Bogdanovic is it. But it's someone that I wouldn't want to trade at this moment in time, especially the way the team is currently constructed. But they definitely need a more of a vocal leader. But I don't think Bogdanovic gets traded right now anyway. I think you got to see how the season go with him. But once if it gets to the trade deadline and Detroit is
his value goes up.
13 and 40 type seasons, then you got to trade him.
Now, Gary, being that there's kind of a logjam at that free position. I mean, Joe Harris is going to get some time at the 3. Thompson's going to get some time at the 3 if they want to go the defensive route. Are you on the same page as Tony where they got all these guys at multiple positions? Are you just going to sell Bogdanovich and go with all the youth and just take Bogdanovich as the asset that he is, or would you like for them to kind of let the veteran get some minutes with them and teach these guys how to play competitive basketball?
Personally, I would want to keep Bogdanovich, but at the same time, I'm in the middle of where Cam and Tony stand. Like Tony's right. They got to just let the young guys play, figure out what they got, decide on what direction they want to go with, what players they want to keep, move forward with. And I also agree, with Cam in the fact that they need a leader and a veteran, but he's not necessarily that vocal leader. He's productive. He shows you how to work hard, but you got to maximize your return on his value, right? Like as soon as you can. I would hold on to him till about the trade deadline when teams want to spend a little more and trade him that way and get bigger assets. Maybe a first round pick or two if you can. But
I think you'll get a first rounder for him.
yeah,
honestly, at the deadline, no doubt.
Almost 22 points a game, 21 points.
That was his career high, by the way. 21.6 points a game was his career high.
And he's probably going to want to be on a contender, and he's going to get frustrated with Cade Cunningham coming back, taking a bunch of shots away from him. They got these rookies that are going to want their shots and develop. The bigs who are going to want their – like, how are kids going to develop if Bogdanovich is taking 22 points away every night?
Yeah. Tony, he's a guy the Sixers should be on. Morey should be offering first rounder for Bojan. I don't know how you feel about that, but I would be – if you're out of the lower sweepstakes and you're looking to improve it to 3-4 – if I'm Daryl Morey, I'm on the phone trying to get Bojan on my roster, bro.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You could definitely. I don't know how much Monty likes Tobias. I think they have $13 million in space to spare, so it's close.
You're still trying to dust off Tobias.
Bro, they won't. Nobody will take that.
Well, he's in his last year of the deal, and he's played with Monty and whatnot. I'm just thinking of like what realistic. Like obviously Harden's never going there. You need to match up some 20 million plus, so that's the only realistic option. But yeah, I also agree with you guys. Like I think Bogdanovich either gets traded at this deadline. Or I think he signed for another. Like you could even wait till the next year and then trade him then. But they'll definitely trade him before his contract runs out.
Do you think?
Here's 39 mils, nice price. Like that's good for him.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think like this team has Killian Hayes running point? They got Cade running point. I know they said Asur Thompson can handle the ball. Are you like? I know you were confused as I was with the Monty Morris deal. I mean, is he really going to compete for minutes with all of these young guys? Like I feel like by December 15th he's getting traded.
Maybe he will be, but up until that point, he's gonna play minutes because Monty Williams is going to make sure that the young guys kind of sit and watch and learn. That's if you're not like a surefire guy. Like I think, the Thompson kid, he'll play right away.
Oh yeah.
But but outside of that, like Monty Morris is gonna get his minutes, and he should. He's a good player. He's someone that can really get that second unit going. Or I'm not sure how they're gonna use him. But I think Monty Williams, that's someone that Monty Williams is going to rely on early, to help try to, provide leadership for this young group. So he's going to definitely get this.
Yeah, definitely try to provide some stability to a team that's lacked it for a couple seasons. There's something I want to touch on with this team, and I think it's very important going forward. We always talk about the NBA and the large markets and how important it is for these markets to excel in the NBA. this is something that caught my eye. The Detroit Pistons were 12th in attendance last season. That is glaring. When I seen it, it literally caught my eye because I was almost, I mean, you see a 17-win team, 12th in attendance. That's super, I guess that's one of the reasons why Detroit spent the money on Monty Williams was, look, we're 12th in attendance and we're this bad. You know, the fan base does have some faith in the youth of this team. If we can somehow spark a winning culture, I mean, obviously they're in the business of making money. You know, being 12th in attendance at this point is huge. You start winning games, the excitement's going to be there. Tony, I'm gonna get your last bit on the Pistons before you sign off. You said 30 wins is probably their ceiling. You're probably in that 25 to 27 range. Monty Williams has a track record of being veteran-led. Do you expect a change from him this season in terms of he is going to buck the trend and lean towards the youth of the roster based on how many young guys he has?
No, I actually don't. I think he's going to make them compete, and he's going to say, you guys are fighting for minutes. Like Cam said, I think Monty Morris is going to play a ton for them early. And then if they flip him down the line, then I'm clapping because he's got a good contract. Contenders will want him, and he plays on and off ball, which I love because they have a lot of point guards, so you can put him in multiple systems. But I like Monty. He knows his team's raw, but he's still going to try to win. But like if Bagley or Wiseman are slacking, they're not going to play.
Yeah,
like they're over. They were second picks, but it don't matter. You're on your other team. Like you're just players now. So if you're not playing defense like he wants you to and stuff, it's going to be next man up for them. But the vets are
very good point, brother. I appreciate you coming on. We definitely went over the 30-minute marker, but having four guys, we tend to do that. I appreciate you as usual. I think we're going to try to get 2 more shows in this week. So if you enjoyed this Piston show, make sure you check back with us. Tony G, I appreciate you. Cam, I haven't spoke to you too much lately, but I appreciate you, man. And I hope we get to do this a little more. Actually, I'm happy I get to tell you this in person. Our next team is the Dallas Mavericks. So I expect for you to be on that show.
Yeah, I got to be on that one, so y'all let me know.
You better have the Luka jersey, nice and fresh, ironed, ready to rock and roll for that one because I'm going to be fired up.
I'll be there ready to defend my Mavericks and, ready to, y'all
Cool.
rough on Luka, so I got to be ready to counter.
Luka's one of my favorite players in since I've been watching basketball. He is one of my favorite players, so I actually really look forward to that show with you. So I appreciate you, man. We've got a couple of these shows in, and I look forward to doing another one with you. The Mad Wizard. I think that's your new nickname now. I like that one, the Mad Wizard. I came up with that like 8 seconds before the show.
Works for me.
Yo, Gary, I appreciate you, right?
Of course, man. Appreciate you too, my man.
30 wins, Pistons.
If they're lucky. But yeah, 30 wins.
My man, I'll see you in the comments, my friend.
Have a good night, brother.
You too. Yo, I appreciate all them guys that come on here, but not more than I appreciate my viewers at Undrafted Hoops. We literally appreciate everything from the Facebook likes on our page, Undrafted Hoops, to the retweets on Twitter at Undrafted Hoops _. We're building something here, and it isn't 100% where we want it to be, but I promise you we work every day to get to the point where you rely on us for basketball content and we try to deliver. After the show, if you haven't done so, please do it. I beg of you. Smash the subscribe button on YouTube. Undrafted Hoops. We're almost at 100 subscribers. That's a big deal to us as we look to get 10,000 one day. Or not. Either way, we appreciate you all for watching. Josh Isles behind the scenes. He's the mastermind. He's been doing all these beautiful graphics and producing the shows when he can't come on. So I appreciate you making me the best looking guy on the show today by not coming on. Peace out at Undrafted Hoops. We'll see you later this week with the Dallas Mavericks. Fuck the Celtics. I'm out.